portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Sexual misconduct claims have surfaced at the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, BAIC.
Yesterday, staff there staged a protest, prompting an investigation into two separate claims. Jared Higgs has more.
The Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation dealing with claims of sexual misconduct. Bahamas Public Services Union President John Pinder was at the corporation's headquarters Wednesday afternoon, where some employees are accusing a pair of managers of sexual misconduct. Pinder told our news team that he met with BAIC General Manager Troy Sampson concerning these allegations, which have resulted in one manager being placed on leave while an investigation takes place.
Our information is that as a result of some allegations levied against him, and some entries made in the securities diary, that certainly he was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of an investigation. The staff were kind of riled up and upset because they heard that he was coming back.
In a separate incident, a junior male employee has filed an official complaint with the union alleging that he was sexually assaulted by a senior male employee.
The second complaint of two males. A male senior staff member actually sexually harassing another male member.
Pinder says he received the official complaint from a junior male employee Wednesday morning, and if warranted, the matter could be handed over to the police. ZNS News understands that officials from BAIC are working closely with the BPSU to ensure that the investigation is conducted openly and fairly to all parties concerned, and a resolution may come in a matter of days. ZNS News will continue to follow the story. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
The Bahamas is reportedly advancing efforts to fulfill its financial disclosure agreement under the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act with the United States, more specifically the Internal Revenue Service of the U.S.
A one-day joint task force spearheaded by the Ministry of Finance was held today to brief industry stakeholders on the compliance requirements ahead of legislation. Carla Palmer reports on that meeting held at British Colonial Hilton Hotel.
The Bahamas government reportedly signed off on the policy decision to share information with the United States in 2013. The Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA agreement, calls on financial institutions, inclusive of banks and trust companies, to report on all international accounts in excess of $50,000. Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, John Roll, explains further.
The FATCA process is about getting financial institutions to compile information on U.S. citizens or U.S. residents that have bank accounts or other assets in Bahamian financial institutions, so that that information can be reported to the IRS, at least on an annual basis.
According to Roll, the draft legislation of guidelines is nearing completion. He maintains the public will be informed of the requirements before the final document is presented to the government.
If the U.S. does not know who the beneficiaries are and income is coming from the U.S. and going into those accounts, then the IRS tends to withhold a much higher percentage of the income in terms of they tax the income at a higher rate that is going into those accounts. So,
Financial Services Minister, the Honorable Hope Strawn, says ensuring security of data is a primary concern.
The FATCA process demonstrates one of the core philosophies of my ministry. That is to do all that is necessary to ensure the full compliance of the Bahamas with established international norms and standards.
Officials pinpoint early November as the target date for the submission of reports to the Internal Revenue Service. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival fever is in the air and all systems are ready for Grand Bahama to host the biggest non-stop cultural kickoff party this weekend on Tino Beach. Bahamas National Festival Commission CEO Roscoe Dames expressing confidence that the island's attractions and culture will be on full display, as our sources tell our business team that there are literally no more hotel rooms available on the island. Presently, organizers are working with the Ministries for Grand Bahama and Tourism, as well as the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Grand Bahama Health Services, various security companies, and corporate Grand Bahama to ensure the event's success. In other business news, President of Bahamas Striping Atario Mitchell addressed the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce Conclave Wednesday on how ideas and innovation are a driving force behind his corporate success. With a $5,000 government grant, Mitchell started a road striping company, which in 5 short years has ballooned into a group encompassing 4 distinct lines of business: road striping, airport maintenance, pavement rejuvenation, and the sale of environmentally friendly asphalt repair products. To date, the company supplies the Nassau Airport Development Company, water and sewage, and many family islands with its asphalt repair product line. And in international news, 4 leading German economic institutes have raised their growth forecast for Germany's economy because of falling oil prices and a weak euro. The country's economy, the largest in the Eurozone, will grow by 2.1% this year. In 2014, as a whole, Germany's GDP was 1.5% higher than in the previous year. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scott.
There are 16 days and counting now to the IAAF BTC World Relays Bahamas, and preparations are well underway.
Last year, security was tight at the sports complex, and National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage says this year will be no different.
Law enforcement agencies are very efficient, particularly these days, and we are aware of all the significance of their presence, of their alertness, of their efficiency, and I don't expect us to have any major issues here. Mr. Leon Bethel, who's Assistant Commissioner responsible for this event, and the Commodore, they're ready.
Now, with the world's best coming to our shores, the Bahamas will present the best to the world in terms of technology.
Tonight, Charles Fisher has more on how that is going to be done.
This year's second edition of the World Relays will be technology-based. All systems have been tested and given the green light by the IAAF. The local organizing committee's chair, Trevor Morse, proudly states that nothing has been left to chance.
We have already tested most things and ensured that they are fully operational. When I say tested most things, everything has been tested, but some of our international partners have already been in town, and like I told you last year, the track is even embedded with technology, and so they came in and they checked those and make sure that all the leads and everything was still operating within parameters, and they were, and they got approved, and so we are well on our way for not just the IAAF World Relays, but for this test event, the Bahamas National High School Relays 2015.
And this year's live coverage extends beyond the stadium's jumbo screens.
We're improving the core network at the stadium. We have extended the network to include the Kendall Isaac Gym and the swim complex directly. Unlike last year where we brought them in, this year they are actually a part of the infrastructure of the stadium itself. And so you have the warm-up track, the stadium, the Kendall Isaac, and the swim complex making up one network.
And with more than 1,000 athletes, coaches, and trainers, and media personnel staying in hotels, they too will be able to see the games and schedule through video feeds.
The hotels, the Atlantis, the Breezes, the media hotels also will be receiving bus schedules and feeds from the stadium. So those persons at the hotels will actually be able to see some things that are going on at the stadium in almost live time. And so if you are at one hotel, you should be able to look on the monitor and see your bus schedule. Even though you might be seeing the same picture, your schedule is different than the other tower or the other hotel. Then there'll be a feed here at the stadium so you can see returning schedules back to your hotel.
And for those who have not yet purchased tickets, you could just possibly miss out on the most exciting track meet of the year. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
A senior citizen's home is being constructed on Cat Island. It's an initiative of the Cat Island Urban Renewal. Beverly Curry reports.
We are in the settlement of Old Bight in Cat Island. As you can see, work is in full swing on a home for the elderly. When completed, it will be known as the Jelena Wells Home for the Aged. Work began about 3 weeks ago on this building, which was once owned by the Ministry of Education. According to Island Administrator Jackson McIntosh, the project is part of urban renewal.
Initially, the program was to add tailored attachments to 4 independent homes for the elderly. And when the Ministry of Education offered this as an option, urban renewal decided that maybe why not house all of them in one. And so even if they were passed on, it would be for other elderly persons coming in the future, as opposed to if it were done on an independent property. The 4 individuals whose house was supposed to get the toilet attachments, they will be the first 4 recipients. And after they would have passed on, and as the need arises, in conjunction with whatever social services deem, who social services deem will be the next person to come.
Emmett Roll serves as facilitator of urban renewal.
We touch a lot of lives. We starting to build some, repair some bathrooms, who don't have bathrooms. We're trying to construct some bathroom for them right now.
What other work have you been doing?
Well, we done been from north to south. We done check on the homes, if what all the homes need.
The contract, worth more than $40,000, was awarded to Cat Islander Edward Jr. Johnson.
We basically tearing down all the old structure and replacing new structure, new facing, new electrical work, and all that stuff. We want to try build the island, try to get stuff going on, and so I think this is a positive thing towards the island.
Beverly Curry for ZNS Network News.